Today's video is going to be all about fragrances that I have been really loving recently and I just want to share with you. So if you like the sound of that, then please do keep on watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you're visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I already mentioned in the intro, today's video is going to be all about fragrances that I have been really loving right now. And I just wanted to share them in a little bit more detail with you. Some of these are very new to my collection and some of them aren't. So without further ado, let's get started on the video. So the first fragrance that I want to talk about is from Argos and it is a Triumph of Bacchus. And I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but I have slept on this brand for far too long. I have only tried 2 fragrances thus far and they have both been very successful. The other fragrance is Pour Femme for reference, but Triumph of Bacchus, this is going to be perfect for the fall season ahead, but also winter. It's a very complex fragrance. There's a lot going on within it. You've got green apple in the opening. It's very, very juicy. You've also got peach. There's some saffron. You've got a rum note. It's got tonka bean. There's tobacco. There's vanilla. There's sandalwood. There's patchouli. So very, very complex. And you are getting just a little bit of each of those categories. You're definitely getting sweetness, but then you're getting a little bit of a woodiness. You're getting that tobacco. The tobacco is very prominent. There's lots of sweetness. I do get the patchouli. I get the saffron. I definitely get the apple. I get the rum. This is just perfection. Perfection, perfection, perfection. And sorry, I am hyping this one up. It's already very hyped up and I do understand why now. Compose yourself. Compose yourself. I'm getting a little bit excited. But yeah, I've only worn this fragrance once and it was love at first sniff. So I will come back with a more in-depth review. But at the moment, I'm just so excited about it that I want to compose myself and come back to you with a more in-depth review because I'm a little bit scared that I'm hyping it up too much. Always sample fragrances first. Please don't blind buy unless you have sampled the fragrance or you really love the sound of the notes. That's just one thing I have to caveat. But yeah, Triumph of Bacchus. Chef's kiss, I love it. Okay, the next fragrance I've had in my collection for a while and it is Venom Incarnet by Stephane Humbert Lucas. I have been obsessed with this for quite some time, but for some reason, my obsession has come back stronger than ever. I think it's because we're transitioning into the season where this one is going to get so much use for me. It's a very sexy fragrance in my opinion. And it's quite a unique composition. I have other fragrances within this scent profile because it's a scent profile that I gravitate towards, but the note combination is quite unique in my opinion. So you have wild strawberry, you have blackberry, and you have raspberry. So you've got those really tart, juicy, red and dark fruits. You then have lots of caramel, and yes, that caramel is adding such a sweet, sexy kind of gourmand vibe to it, but it doesn't completely go there because of the base notes. In the base, you have leather, there's a little bit of patchouli, there's some cinnamon too, there's also vanilla and a little bit of tonka bean, and you get a slight woodiness. But the 3 notes, if I had to pick up 3 notes that really stand out to me, it is the strawberry, the caramel, and the leather. Those 3 combined, oof, this is femme fatale sex in a bottle, in my opinion. I think it's phenomenal. Absolutely unisex, by the way, just because I'm saying femme fatale. That is the vibes it gives me when I wear it. I feel so empowered, but it definitely smells great on anyone, so please don't let that put you off. I think it's a completely unisex fragrance, or shall I say a genderless fragrance. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. The strawberry is giving something that I have wanted from so many other fragrances. I love strawberry, but I don't want it to be a juvenile strawberry. Because it's combined with that leather, with that patchouli, the cinnamon, the tonka bean, the caramel, and then you've got the blackberry, the raspberry. I'm going into hype mode again. I don't know what's wrong with me. I haven't even had coffee today. I'm just excited. Chill. So another fragrance that I've been loving at the moment and I have loved for quite a while is Venom Incarnet by Stephane Humbert. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Benigna, and this one is Worthiness. So I've spoken about it once before, but I didn't go into too much detail in that video because it was a first impressions or a new fragrance video. And this one is an extremely special and luxurious fragrance, that is for sure. However, I haven't really had a chance to wear it properly because it's still the summer, and I personally feel like this is the most perfect for fall and winter season. Now, it should be starting to get a lot cooler over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I will definitely be reaching for this one. I've worn it once around the house and I've sampled it a couple of times on paper to really get a feel for the fragrance because a few of you wanted me to review it in more detail, so I had to obviously test it. However, like I mentioned, I feel like this one shines best in the cooler weather. Not that I've experienced it in the cooler weather, it's just the feeling that I get from it. Now, this is a very vanillic oud fragrance with lots of cinnamon. And I absolutely love cinnamon in a fragrance. If I see cinnamon listed in the notes, I need to try it. And it definitely is a very sugary cinnamon. However, it doesn't go too overbearingly sweet because of the oud note in here, and it's a very strong animalic oud. It does settle down on the skin, but that initial blast of the oud kind of comes off very animalic and slightly, I want to say slightly skanky. And if you know traditional real oud fragrances, you'll understand what I mean by that kind of skanky oud. Me and my husband picked it up initially from first spray, but it settles down after about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, you've also got a dose of tonka bean in here, which is so delicious, and it adds another kind of dimension of sweetness, but it's more of a powdery sweetness. Then we go into orris, which is also, I don't want to say powdery, but it gives this a musky kind of earthy feel as well. There's a teeny bit of florals in here, but I wouldn't call this like a floral oud. It's not a traditional rose oud. This is more of a vanillic cinnamon oud, if that's even a thing. That is definitely what I get from the composition. Super, super excited for that cooler weather to come because I think this is one that's going to be quite show-stopping. Now, this is a very luxurious fragrance. If I can find somewhere where you can get a decant, I will link it down below. But the presentation is phenomenal. It's nice and sturdy. It comes in an incredible box. But from the 1-day test that I did, it lasted all day long. So great longevity. You should hope so for a luxury fragrance. And it had mega projection. If I spray this one, even on a paper test strip, I can smell it in the next room. So we love that about Worthiness. I will revisit this again when it's the appropriate time of year to wear it, but I wanted to just share some more details with those of you that wanted to hear a little bit more about Worthiness. The next fragrance is from Gritti, and this one is Siracusa. And I think I mentioned in a previous video that I'm on a little bit of a Gritti kick at the moment. I'm really enjoying the house, and Siracusa has taken me by surprise because this is such a unique fragrance. I will caveat that with this is not a safe blind buy because it is incredibly unique, at least to my nose. But this is such a fantastic fragrance, especially for this time of the year, because it's a freshie, but it's also very green. It's got a little bit of a lactonic vibe to it. It's slightly solar. And yeah, it lasts all day and projects beautifully. So Siracusa has definitely taken me by surprise. Now in the opening, you have lemon blossom, you have palm leaf and almond. And I think that's where the majority of the greenness is coming from. But it is incredibly unique, as I've already mentioned, and I don't have anything quite like this in my collection, which is why it stood out to me so much. In the base, you have whipped cream, yep, whipped cream, vanilla, you've got a little bit of tiare flower, and in the base, you've got white musk, solar notes, and sandalwood, and it's definitely a very green fragrance, as I've mentioned. Very, very fresh, like kind of out of the shower fresh. But then you get a little bit of that kind of whipped cream, and it's quite unusual to have a freshie that's also lactonic. You get that kind of solar sunshine vibe, a little bit of saltiness, which I don't know where that saltiness is coming from. It's a little bit musky. I don't really know what palm leaf smells like, but it's definitely green in the opening. And then you've got that beautiful kind of soft, creamy almond. Yeah, this one has had me very excited recently. I'm definitely going to try and get as much wear out of it as I can in September, October. Now, I'm not someone that normally focuses too much on seasonal fragrances. However, I do feel like certain profiles suit certain seasons best, and I do feel like this is more of a spring summer scent in my opinion, just like I said that Worthiness was more of a fall and winter fragrance. But yeah, Siracusa is incredibly unique, and if you have sampled this one, please let me know what you think about it because I'm super curious. The next fragrance is from Viktor and Rolf, and it is a Flowerbomb. And I know this is super random because this fragrance has been out nearly 20 years. And I remember this fragrance growing up. I was never the one who wore Flowerbomb. I used to wear Marc Jacobs Daisy, I wore Armani C, I wore Hugo Boss Deep Red. I'm trying to think what else I wore. But I was never a Flowerbomb girl. I don't know why. Flowerbomb was always a little bit more pricey than some of the other designer scents. That could have been part of it. I don't know. But I used to go for kind of overly sweet and sickly fragrances when I was younger. And I feel like Flowerbomb is actually a very elegant designer scent. And yeah, I got sent this recently in PR by Viktor and Rolf. And it took me by surprise how much I absolutely love this one. Not because it's a designer scent. I'm not a niche snob, by the way. I love my designer fragrances too. But it took me by surprise just because I have obviously smelt this in the past, but I never really connected with it. And for some reason, since I got this bottle, I have really, really connected with Flowerbomb, which makes me really excited actually. And yeah, I've got this big bottle to start playing with, and I'm definitely going to be wearing it a lot now. And it's just such a beautiful kind of light floral scent. There's a little bit of green tea in here. It's just such a beautiful floral scent. And I slept on this one for many, many years, clearly. I love that it has a tea note in here, which is probably why I'm so fixated on it at the moment. It's a little bit musky, and then you've got these beautiful kind of light florals that aren't overly sweet. So you've got freesia, you've got some orchid, there's rose in here, there's a beautiful osmanthus note. And yeah, I know some of you are probably watching this thinking, Hayley, come on, this fragrance has been around for a long time. Why have you only just joined the love of it? And I don't know is the honest answer. And the last fragrance that I want to talk about is from a brand called Who is Elijah? And this fragrance is called Haze. And I have been seeing this brand all over my Instagram feed. I don't know if any of you are also seeing it on Instagram or maybe TikTok, but it always intrigued me, specifically because I really love the branding. And Haze, it says here, is a smoky, woody, sweet fragrance. And yes, that definitely sums it up. And this is another one that I feel like will be perfect for the fall and the winter season ahead. And this one's a little bit kind of smoky, woody, sweet. It's got chestnut in here. As soon as I saw that chestnut note, I was like, I need to try this because sign me up for all of the chestnut. It's got some spices in the opening. So there's clove and pink pepper. There's a slight floral nuance within this, but mostly it's a very woody vanilla fragrance. So I'm going to reference some fragrances that I absolutely love. If you like Atelier de Source Lune Feline, or you like Replica by the Fireplace, then Haze is probably going to be one that you need to try because it's got similar vibes to those, but I get a little bit more spice in the opening, and that chestnut adds a beautifully unique quality to the overall composition. I am getting lots of woods, as you would expect from a smoky woody fragrance, but then there's also a beautiful blast of vanilla. This is a very smooth fragrance. It's long lasting, it projects. So I have been very, very impressed with Who is Elijah, and Haze is a fragrance that's got me really excited for the fall and the winter time. I know we're in summer. I'm trying to hold out and just live my best life for the summer, but to be honest, I'm ready for fall and winter. I'm ready for cozy sweaters. I'm ready for all of the fall kind of drinks. I'm ready for spice. I'm ready for all of the deep scents. I am just ready. So I'm getting excited again. Let me put this down. So those were the fragrances that have been getting me really excited recently. I love it when I just get really excited about fragrances. It just kind of ignites my passion back. Not that I ever lost it, but sometimes when you are smelling fragrances day in, day out, things start to blend in and it's harder and harder to find things that kind of set your soul on fire, if you will. And these are just fragrances that have just had me very excited recently. So let me know what you think about some of the fragrances that I mentioned today. But what I want to know is what fragrances have had you super excited recently, the ones that you just absolutely love and you can't get enough of. Please do let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your picks. But thank you so much for watching today. It has been a pleasure as always. I hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much and goodbye.